How's it going, everyone? My name is Landon. I'm your host at Preposterous Pets, and these are my biggest tips to keeping a Brazilian rainbow boa. Let's go. The Brazilian rainbow boa, formerly known as the Epicrotis sangria, is a nocturnal constrictor that can be found in countries throughout Brazil, Guyana, and Venezuela, and all throughout South and Central America. They are known for their beautiful iridescent scales and similarities to anacondas. Male rainbow boas can reach 4 to 5 feet long, while some females can reach 5 to 7 feet. The breeder I got my rainbow boa from claimed that her mother was 9 foot long. Wow. Now that we got all the fun facts out of the way, I can actually start getting into what y'all are here for. Now in today's video, I'm going to be going over why you should and why you shouldn't have a Brazilian rainbow boa as a pet. Now to start off, Brazilian rainbow boas can be very hard not to buy when you see them because of how beautiful they are. Their iridescence, the orange, the velvet looking colors all over them, their stripes, everything about them is just gorgeous. Basically everything but the price tag tells me, damn, I want that snake. I'm here to unfortunately tell y'all that it's not all that sweet. Brazilian rainbow boas are very difficult, and I highly do not recommend to a beginner. So first of all, when these snakes are young, from probably about just being born to about a year old, they need very particular parameters, humidity and temperature wise. They need at least around a 95% humidity range throughout their tank. If humidity requirements cannot be reached in the tank, then your Brazilian rainbow boa has a very, very high chance of getting a respiratory infection. And that is one thing you do not want. And that's the main problem when people first buy these snakes, is that they don't realize how fragile they are when they're young. So they just throw them in a normal tank, don't really monitor the humidity too much or the heat, and they end up killing their Brazilian rainbow boa. And they ask themselves, well, how the hell did that happen? They probably had no clue even going into it what they were doing. I highly, highly recommend using a tub setup rather than a glass tank setup or anything else, just because the tub allows you to hold all that humidity you need, and they're still young, and you can get them on a good feeding schedule in the tub as well. Since Brazilian rainbow boas do not need that much circulating air, I like to put 2 small holes on each side of the bin, just to make sure that there is air still coming in and out, but it also holds that very high humidity, and it works perfectly for me. In the tub for my Brazilian rainbow boa, I provide her with a small hide on the cool side, some fake plants just so she can, I guess, be more comfortable, more safe, and a water bowl at least big enough to fit her in it so she can soak. And at this point you might be asking, what do I use for a substrate? Well, let me tell you the secret. This is what you want to know. Most people don't think too much about it and just throw in a very high humidity holding substrate such as like cypress mulch, cocoa coir, any of that stuff. But that stuff molds easily. You'll be constantly having to replace your substrate monthly, even sooner than that. Now the key substrate for these guys is going to be Reptichip. Now you may be asking, what the hell is Reptichip? Reptichip not only holds your humidity really well, but it also lets you be a little lazier, I guess, taking care of these guys. With the Reptichip and the no mold, you won't have to change out her substrate as much in your tank, and it just makes your life a lot easier, and it's more healthy for your snake. So now that we've got all that done, you got your Reptichip, you got your water bowl, you got your tub figured out, now we got to worry about heating. Now with the heating, I personally use a heat pad, and I put it under about 1/3 of the tank. Not covering half of it, not covering a fourth, about 1/3. And you want that cool side to be around 77 to 79 degrees, whereas the warmer side, anywhere from like 80 to 85, I guess. I mean, even that's a little hot in my opinion, but low to mid 80s is what I like to do, but other people may have different opinions than I do, but that's what I do, and it works perfectly fine for me. Having the heat mat under 1/3 of the tub honestly works the best for me, just because it not only provides enough heat for her, but it also doesn't provide too much heat to the point where the humidity dries up too quickly. I respray and remist my Brazilian rainbow boa's tub once every 2 to 3 days. It holds just fine and it's perfect. So you may be asking me, what are the behaviors like on these guys? So it really honestly depends. But most of the time, they're a little feistier when they're younger for sure. Some of them will grow up and just continue to be feisty their whole lives, whereas others will be feisty when they're younger, but eventually kind of just chill out, just like mine. Mine was a complete dickhead the moment I got her, and for about 2 to 3 weeks after I got her, bit me every time I handled her, But she has not bit me in over 2 weeks now, which is good. So it's looking better, and it looks like she's starting to get used to me and calm down. But I've also just understood her behavior better to the point where I know what I can do to not get bit and get bit. Just know, if a snake bites you, it's almost always your fault. I highly also recommend handling them quite often, getting them used to the feeling of your hands, so as they get older, they learn that you are not a threat, and eventually they'll stop biting you. Obviously, no handling the day before, day of, or day after feeding. Other than that, there's really nothing more I need to talk about with these guys. They really aren't super difficult if you know what you're doing. You gotta know what you're doing. I hope this helped out a lot, guys. Feel free to drop any comments. Let me know what I'm doing right or wrong. I'm always open for more tips. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day.